Military police are a type of preventive state police in every state of Brazil. The military police units, which have their own formations, rules and uniforms depending on the state, are responsible for maintaining public order across the country, including the federal district and its capital, Brasília, deployed solely to act as a deterrent against the commission of crime. Units do not conduct criminal investigations. Detective work, forensics and prosecutions are undertaken by a state's civil police. In 1999, the National Public Security Force was created to handle any significant security crisis. The unit, which is composed of the most qualified military police personnel from all federal states, can only be deployed through the express command of a state governor. All state military police and military firefighters corps are classed as reserve troops and ancillary forces of the Brazilian Army. In time of war, the military police forces can be pressed into federal service, but they remain distinct from the provosts belonging to the other services within the Brazilian military. The Corps Army Police for the Army, Navy Police for the Navy, and Air Force Police for the Air Force. History. The first militarized police in Portugal was the Royal Police Guard of Lisbon, established in 1801, which followed by model the National Gendarmerie of France, created in 1791. When the Portuguese royal family was transferred to Brazil, the Royal Police Guard of Lisbon remained in Portugal, and another equivalent was created in Rio de Janeiro, under the name of Military Division of the Royal Guard Police of Rio de Janeiro, in 1809. With the abdication of Emperor Pedro I in 1831, the Regency held reformulations on the Brazilian armed forces. The Royal Guard Police of Rio de Janeiro was extinct, and replaced by the Municipal Guard Corps of Volunteers, a type of security force similar to the National Guard. The same law allowed each province to establish its own Guard of Volunteers. In 1834, Pedro I died in Portugal, and this reduced the fear in Brazil of a reunification of the kingdoms. The Guard of Volunteers were then transformed into province police corps with professional troops. The police corps were created with the same structure as the army, and to serve as reserve troops when necessary. With the proclamation of the Republic, Brazil adopted a constitution based on the United States' one, where the states have a large autonomy. The Corps of Police began to be administered by the states and became smaller regional armies, with infantry, cavalry, artillery, and later, even with air forces. This dangerous situation to the national security remained until the end of World War II, with the deposition of the dictatorial government of Getulio Vargas. After World War II, the military police assumed the roles of a more traditional police force, similar to a gendarmerie subject to the states. They sought a rapprochement with the civil society, slowly developing the configuration it currently possesses. Structure. Organization. The Secretariat for Public Security supervises all state police activities. The SSPs are subordinate to the National Council of Public Security, according to Article 144 of the Federal Constitution. The function of the military police is to serve as a conspicuous police force and to preserve public order. The military police of any state are organized as a military force and have a military-based rank structure. Training is weighted more heavily toward police matters, but counterinsurgency training is also included. Arms and equipment of state forces include machine guns and armored cars, in addition to other items generally associated with police. Article 144 of the Constitution stipulates that the Military Police Forces and the Military Firefighters Corps, Ancillary Forces and Army Reserve, who are subordinate, along with the Civil Police Forces, to the governors of the states, federal district, and territories. Between 1969 and 1985, the Ministry of Army has controlled the military police during periods of declared national emergency. Before 1930, these forces were under individual state control, and known as the governor's armies. Quote, they sometimes outnumbered regular troops in many states. In 1932, after constitutionalist revolution in São Paulo, the Federal Army took steps to reverse this situation. In 1964, most military police members were on the side of the successful conspirators. During military dictatorship, military police units were often commanded by active-duty army officers, but that has occurred less frequently as professional police officers have achieved higher ranks and positions. The commandant of a state's military police is usually a colonel. The command is divided into police regions, which deploy police battalions and companies. Firefighting is also a military police function in some states, but they are organized in separate units. State traffic police are either the state highway police, or the traffic police in the larger cities. Both are part of the state military police. The military police is organized into battalions, companies, platoons, and subdivided into detachments. The battalions are based in major urban centers, and the companies and platoons are distributed according to population density in cities. The mounted police is organized into regiments, subdivided into squadrons and platoons of mounted police. Nomenclature throughout Brazil. The military police is known by the acronym PM, followed by the abbreviation of the state, except in the state of Rio Grande do Sul, where the unit is known as BM-01, PMAC-ACA 02, PMAL Alagoas 03, PMAP Amapa 04, PMAM Amazonas 05, PMBA Bahia 06, PMCE Ceará 07, PMDF Distrito Federal 08, PMES Espírito Santo 09, PMGO Goiás 10, PMM Maranhão 11, PMMT Mato Grosso 12, PMMS Mato Grosso do Sul 13, PMMG Minas Gerais 14, PMPA Para 15, PMPB Paraíba 16, PMPR Paraná 17, PMPE Pernambuco 18, PMPI Piauí 19, PMERJ Rio de Janeiro 20, PMRN Rio Grande do Norte 21, PMRS Rio Grande do Sul 22, PMRO Rondônia 23, PMR Roraima 24, PMSC Santa Catarina 25, PMESP São Paulo 26, PMSC Sergipe 27, PMTO Tocantins. These forces are distinct from the three province forces that police the Brazilian armed forces: the Naval Police, Army Police, and Aeronautical Police. Uniforms. The Brazilian armed forces inherited Portuguese military traditions and during the period of the Empire and part of the Republic. With few exceptions, dark blue uniforms were used. In 1903, the Brazilian Army opted for khaki-colored field uniforms, later copied by the military police. In 1934, the Ministry of War established the color khaki for all the reserve forces. After the Second World War, the military police had the autonomy to adopt its own uniforms, but most stayed with the khaki. During the military government in 1976, the Army suggested that the military police adopt the blue color. Since then, some units have changed the uniforms, others have not. Currently the color khaki and blue prevail in the colors of the uniforms of the military police. Forces with khaki uniforms: PMRS, PMAC, PMAL, PMBA, PMCE, PMGO, PMMG, PMPB, PMPR, PMPE, PMPI, PMSC, and PMTO. Forces with blue uniforms: PMAP, PMAM, PMDF, PMES, PMMAD, PMMS, PMERJ, PMRN, PMRO, PMR, and PMSE. Forces with gray uniforms: PMESP, PMMT. Forces with green uniforms: PMPA. This applies only to service uniforms, not to the formal uniform, which has different variations. Ranks: the military police of the Brazilian states have almost the same hierarchical classification of the army, but with different insignias and with no rank of general. Main types of policing: aerial patrol, environmental police, K9, riot control police, prison security, urban traffic police, school patrol, police bicycle, police motorcycle, mounted police, highway patrol, railroad police, special operations, DARE, tourist police. Ratio of military police to population. Analysis by the federal government of the ratio of resident population to the number of official military police in 2003 shows that the proportion is quite varied among the states. The states of Roraima, Amapá, Acre, Rondônia, Rio Grande do Norte, and Rio de Janeiro, plus the federal district, have a higher proportion of military police. In the federal district, for example, for each military police there are 137 inhabitants. At the opposite extreme, the states with the lowest ratio of military police are Pará, Maranhão, Piauí, Ceará, Mato Grosso do Sul, Paraná, and Rio Grande do Sul. Maranhão has the lowest, with 822 people per military police. Note that in the case of São Paulo and Paraná, the numbers of the military firefighters corps are included in the figures for military police. National Force of Public Safety. In situations of serious disturbance of the public order that exceeds the capacity of the state, the governors can request assistance from the federal government. To work in such situations, the Ministry of Justice has the National Force of Public Safety. The FNSP is composed by specially trained officers of the military police of different states, in coordination between the Secretary of Public Safety of each state and the Ministry of Justice. Inspectorate General of Military Police. The Inspectorate General of Military Police (IGPM) is a command element of the Brazilian Army, responsible for coordinating and conducting activities of control over the military police and military firefighters corps of states. It is part of the Land Operations Command (COTER), and its mission is the establishment of principles, guidelines and standards for the effective implementation of control and coordination of the military police under command of the Army, through its military area commands, regions and other major military command. The control of the organization and legislation, personnel and equipment of military police, such as weapons, ammunition, communications equipment, chemical agents, military equipment, vehicles, aircraft and boats. Collaboration in studies aiming to rights, justice and guarantees of the military police, and the establishment of conditions for convening and mobilization, coordinating and monitoring compliance with the provisions of relevant state and federal legislation. Conduct regular inspections. Armored vehicles of Brazilian military police. Helicopters of Brazilian military police. Gallery.